So I like this, but thinking about it, I want to make it a little bit more dramatic. I'm going to click on my background layer over here. I'm going to choose a burn tool, but I can't quite find it. Where is it? Dodge tool, burn tool. It's the hand symbol. You can, of course, change your brush size up here. Actually, I'm going to change my brush style as well. I don't want hard edge. I want a bit of a splattery kind of misty thing. Now, drag the size up. If you look on your keyboard, where the letter P is to the right, there are two brackets. If I use the right-handed one, oops, it didn't work too well. Press escape. If I use my right bracket, that's 2 across from the P, zooms up. This works for most tools. Left one zooms down. I want a fairly big, generous brush tool. I'm going to go back and select that. Using the right one to zoom up, hold it down. All right, so I'm going to burn in this background a bit. Another thing I probably should have done first, you can select to go onto shadows, which are the darkest parts. So where you burn, which I guess in photographic language is just making it darker. Dodging is making it lighter. Shadows, if I burn shadows, it affects predominantly darker areas, midtones, highlights, the white bits. I want to go for my midtones. With the exposure here, if you do it too high, it happens really quick and you lose finesse. You can't adjust things very slowly. Control Z to undo that. I'm going to go down to about 20%. Another little thing I'm going to add in here, I'm going to go into, I want more history state. So if I make a mistake, I want to be able to go back right to the beginning. I'm going to go File, no, I'm going to go Edit, Preferences, General. Now, if you go next, okay, look for History and Cache, which is in the Performance tab. Click on that and let's go 400. That means I can go back through 400 history states. I can make 400 moves and then I can go back. So I've got midtones, I've got my burn tool selected, and I've got my exposure down at about 20. Remember, I'm going to use those brackets that are on the right-hand side of the P button on the keyboard just to zoom up and down occasionally so I can vary how I'm burning. See, that's coming in quite dark. Now you'll notice it's not actually affecting the person. If I was to burn on the person, it wouldn't affect it because it's on a separate layer. Coming in a little bit too fast, I want to slow it down. I'm going to go down to, say, 10%. And I'm also going to shrink my little burn tool here because I want to be a little bit more selective. You can either click and hold it down, which will more or less act like a paintbrush, it will burn, or you can just do individual clicks. Adding this kind of darkness around it is traditionally called vignetting. One thing I haven't shown you, these little eyes turns off layers. Now, I want to add a little bit to the person here as well. So, I've selected the person. That means only this layer will be burnt on, the one that you can see now. So it's selected that. Oh, that's happening a bit too quick. I'm going to go change it to highlights. I'm going to change it down to just 5% because I want it to go a bit slow. Part of the reason why, I don't like that. So I'm going to go back through, click on my little history button up here. If you go back, you can see, that's about where I want to be. I want to slow it down even more. Let's go down to like 2%. Part of the reason why I'm burning this in is I want a direct our attention to the face. This ear up here is a little bit too bright. I don't like that, it's too much. I'm going to change that to mid-tone, see if that makes any difference. That's a bit better, it's a bit slower. If there's a part that's really bright, it's going to distract your attention from the face. I kind of want attention directed into the eyes. Now I'm going to zoom right down using the, you can either go down in size here, or you can just use the keyboard shortcut, which is the brackets next to the P, and go down in size. I just want to burn in this a tiny bit. So I'm going to use Control Plus to zoom in, hold down the space bar so I can center it. It's pretty good. I've got detail on these whites, which is important, but I just want to bring it in a tiny bit. It's just a little bit too hot. Control minus. So I'm pretty happy with that. If I go back to, that was what I started with. This is where I'm up to now. I reckon that's pretty cool. I'm going to save this. Actually, I'm going to set the image size. Go to image up the top here. Image size. Now, this will normally be clicked. I want you to unclick that. I know that A4 paper is 29.7 centimeters wide. I'm going to set it to 29 because I want to be, no, I'll go to 29.7. I'm not going to reduce my resolution. If I was printing for good photographic quality, all I'd have to do is go click there, make that 300, and that's pretty good. That's fantastic quality for printing. I'll have A4 paper is 21 wide, sorry, in height, but that's okay. We'll just have to trim it. So I'm going to click OK on that. If I was doing screen resolution, sorry, for internet, I'll just click that, change that to 72 pixels per inch. So File, Save As, that, Finished. I'm going to put that into my Finished folder. Open up, thank you. It's a TIFF. I'm happy with that. I'm not going to make any more adjustments. Unclick Layers, which means it'll be a smaller file size. Click LZW, Zip, slower saves, smaller files, that's good, and OK.